So, poverty caused crime, more resuscitatory, coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense Logical Reason. As always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So, I have more resuscitatory for y'all. And poverty causing crime is an example of end result thinking. It's really truly not even the end result. It's mostly an assumption. Black people assume that poverty causes crime, even though there's absolute zero evidence to say so. Now, why do they use this? Well, anytime anyone brings up the crime rate amongst black people, or brings up the idea that blacks commit mass crime, they use this as a deflectionary tactics, right? So they will say that, well, it's poverty that causes crime. Now, even though there's absolute zero evidence to show that poverty causes crime or crime causes poverty. Either way, it's, like I said, it's an assumption. But I'd be willing to say that it's more likely that crime causes poverty than the other way around. Now, why would I say this? Well, if one of the things that people look at when investing into an area is the crime rates, if you have high crime rates, then it's going to deter people from wanting to invest in your area, thus preventing resources and wealth to come into your area. That would cause poverty. Also, if the high crime rate causes businesses to leave the area, again, that would be what I guess you call white flight, or whatever the flight it is, whatever color flight it is, it's fleeing your area and, well, taking resources and wealth from your area, and thus can cause poverty. So I'm willing to say that it's more likely that crime causes poverty than the other way around. Now, why do they say, the black people say, or the race hustlers say, that poverty causes crime? Well, the reason why they say that in that order, because then they can blame it on the white man. If people say that black folks are impoverished and lazy, and it's not because of white supremacy, it's because of the lack thereof of blacks, where they can just say, well, or when black people resort to crime, they can say, well, it's the white man that's keeping us impoverished, so it's the white man's fault. They can't say, they can't blame it on the crime. They can't say that, well, if crime causes poverty, then they can't say, well, the white man is causing us to commit crime rates, so that's why we're impoverished. That doesn't make any sense. Plus, it'll put the responsibility on black people. And one thing that we've seen about blacks, when it comes down to race, we see a complete lack of accountability from black people. Now, why do I believe that crime and poverty are always have a correlation with each other, even though causality doesn't equal to correlate, or correlation doesn't equal to causality, as the race hustlers always say? Well, the reason why is because of the ghetto mentality. Now, y'all know I made videos on the ghetto mentality before, and basically what the ghetto mentality is a mentality that you see often in housing projects and ghettos where black people are. Is a childlike mentality that puts a heavy emphasis on quick gratification, living for the here and day. Let's satisfy quick gratification, very little emphasis whatsoever with delaying gratification, so that you can have gain in the future. Again, children aren't thinking about the future. You can't expect a toddler to think about investing, because that's not just in the nature of it. They just don't have the mental capacity to do that. And this is why you see these both crime and poverty in the black community. Now, first, the poverty. If you have a childlike mentality that puts heavy emphasis on living for the day, here and now, put emphasis on butter as opposed to guns. Y'all know the economic phrase, the economic term, guns and butter. Well, ghetto-minded people tend to put all the energy and effort into butter, quick gratification, cars, clothes, jewelry, flashing, all about outward and show. A black dude go out and get him a car, put $4,000 worth of rims and car stereos and a paint job in a car, and that has value in the black community, what we call living ghetto fabulous. It has no real value because that car is just going to depreciate. The value, that money that you put into that is just going to depreciate to nothing. That's money that could have been invested in something, but you invested it in a car. And in a lot of cases, some cases, the car that they put that money into a car that's not even worth $4,000 or $5,000. So they put more into the car than it's actually worth, and that's just lost investment. This is kind of stuff that you see going on in the hood. Again, it's not about delayed gratification. It's all about, let me satisfy quick gratification because it feels good now. That's what toddlers do. And then as far as the crime rate, again, childlike mentality. I always use an example of the toddlers and the toys. If you have two toddlers, two-year-olds, and there's one toy that they both want, they're not going to say okay, well, you come up to agreement with each other. Okay, you play with the toy now, and I'll get it later. They're not thinking like that. They don't have that mental capacity. They're going to fight for that toy because they want it now, and that's all they can think about is now. And this is a lot of problems that causes the crime in the black community, in which, I've heard other researchers out there who had to admit, I heard Tariq Nasheed say black people just lack conflict resolution. I have to agree with that completely. Completely lacking in resolution. Conflict resolution. They're going to fight. This is why you hear about some dude in a black club getting shot because he quote unquote bumped into somebody, or somebody felt they were being disrespected. They don't understand the concept of turn the other cheek. Not inwards. So, and this is why you see the high crime rates in the black community, because of a childlike mentality. That's just it. So it's not poverty that causes crime. It is not crime that causes poverty. It's that ghetto mentality that so many blacks out here, these race hustlers, these brainwashed blacks, refuse to address. They want to deal with the white man, but not deal with this ghetto mentality that's destroying the hoods. That causes the poverty and the crime. Anyway, y'all, if you ever hear any black person, any white person, whoever says that poverty causes crime, well, now you know, and know it's half the battle. And as always, y'all, until next time.